Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am doing another ECM test, Marine ECM for George Bleisch in New Hampshire. This is a 5.7 GXi-H. His concern, I'm going to read it. I have a page right there with all his concerns and writings. I'm right now testing the computer at 4,000 RPMs. As you can see, I have pictures for him on idle and now 4,000 RPMs. I have codes that are now here, and the codes that I have are just the ones that I leave on purpose out so I can test the logic of the computer and make sure that it's in actually reading good and nothing is abnormal. Right now we got 350.99 hours, and that will change obviously as it runs. What I want you to see is the RPMs in 4,000. We get all the injectors milliseconds. This is a 8 injector computer, and it has a 1 EST signal for the distributor that will send the spark to all the coils. So I'm going to lower the RPM to idle. You can see how now we get less injections on the screen, and so is the EST signal, which is the green channel at the bottom. I have two channels on injector 1 and 6 just to see, make sure that nothing is abnormal. So I'm going to go down to 600 RPMs, which is the desired RPM, around there. And then bring the throttle position to around 5% or 5, 7%, around there. That's pretty good. And we can see how the injector milliseconds change with RPM. I'm going to now turn the computer off, turn the signals off. We lost communication. As you can see, it's trying to connect. So I'm going to reconnect before we lost it completely. And now it's now connected. We can see that is indeed 0 engine RPM. So all is there. We got no signals on either of the injectors or EST because obviously it's not running. I'm going to power off again so we can see the fuel pump prime right here. And that should go away. And it did. And then run. And it's immediately having injector in milliseconds. The computer is running perfectly. So, and we have injector 1 and 6 and the EST signal. So all is normal. So I'm going to read his data. He sent this in September 12th. It says issue engine will start and run for approximately 1.5 seconds and then shut off. Some no light testing shows that each injector will trigger once and then no further grounding trigger will be sent from the ECM. To further investigate this, we have tried keeping the engine running by manually squaring fuel into the throttle body. This is successful, indicating that the 12-volt feed, which runs both injectors and the ignition, continues to operate because the ignition system continues to operate. From my perspective, it appears that something electrical, which is telling the injectors to stop firing, but as you'll see below, the 5-volt sensors all seem to be working and sending appropriate input to the ECM. Fuel pressure is 55 to 60, filters are clean and good. Match diagnosis, I can actually put that in here because there's only his name in there. Match diagnosis and time has gone into getting this far, and I'm sort of giving up and giving you a chance to see if you can find anything within the ECM, all the sensors except for oil pressure, exhaust temperature in manifolds, and the NOx sensor have been swapped for new ones with no change in results, and the current status is all changed. Sensors have been changed back to the originals except the crank and cam position sensors. I had Diacom software and had tremendous problems getting it to work on my laptop, with the result that I never got a chance to run the Diacom on the running engine, being made to run via manually squaring fuel into it. However, I did get the DTCs from the ECM and I have not cleared any of those codes such that you're able to review. Early in the season, there was an overheating episode which explained the majority of the codes, particularly the ones which have many stars since they occurred. All other except 1511 are outcomes from diagnostic work, and I and my technician friends have been doing. 1511 is the outdrive trim sensor, and that hasn't worked for a couple of years, and it's unrelated to the engine problem, in my opinion. I think that's the background information you need, but feel free to email me if I have left something out. And he did not. Everything is pretty much good. The other thing that I want to check, this computer provides two fiber reference, which I have here. Now this is fiber reference one, so I'm going to move this out and connect the other fiber reference to my meter so we can see that it's indeed working good. So fiber reference, the computer is providing everything necessary for the boat to run, and it's good. Let me take you over to the folder I have for him. So I have the history. Again, this is for George, and as you can see, this is with 0 RPMs. Let me get this a little bigger so we can see better. So we got 0 RPMs. I usually do this to collect the history. This was today at 12:30, 12:13, and we are now in 12:52, so almost an hour of the computer running. I'm going to scroll down to see the fault codes. So we have indeed, as he referred, ECT voltage held high, higher than expected. A stage 1 engine start since occurrences 59. We got the barometric pressure low. This happens in here. This is one of the logic ones that I left out. This TPS 1 voltage low, it says 0. This fault occurred this key cycle. I'm not sure because my TPS 1 was good, but I reset it and it didn't come back. We have also on history injector 4 open or short to ground, and it has not happened in 94 start. So that is something that is definitely not happening. ECT higher than expected, stage 2. This is the one that I think he has problem. Loss of cam input, engine starts occurring at 0. So the cam sensor signal. This is another one that will prevent the computer from working properly. This camshaft and the crankshaft could not synchronize during the start. So he might have either a sensor problem or a timing problem. And this is something that will be mechanical. It says occur after 5 engine starts since occurring 5 times. Then this is the 1511 he referred about this reading sender, and definitely it's not a problem. This is oil pressure sensor voltage high. So this is even from them doing tests or something. He has also eye coil shorted, which the IAC is working good, and we can see that in here. Hopefully the camera can pick that change in the colors of the IAC. The IAC is trying to find its position, and that is fine. Again, buzzer open. Again, that's not a problem. And this I don't have connected. ECT temperature high. Again, 59 times since occur. Water temperature gauge, this is mine. Oil pressure gauge is mine. Trim center gauge, this is mine. And this is the serial, so I can show that in here. Those are the serial, and it's a 2006 computer EGC, and we can see there is indeed a 5.7 liters. So again, nothing that I see abnormal. I take the pictures, as I mentioned before, of the same test that you'll see before. So he has the idle running values where we can see EST and injectors, and I do the same thing on the 4K test, and then history and idle values, and then like I said, everything is working good. The computer is starting every single time. So yeah, this is not a computer. I wish I could help you, George, but yeah, everything here is working as it's supposed to. I'm going to get you to see, because I can zoom in some of the pits in here, like the throttle position, voltage, and position percentage. I'm going to put this down in here, and I'm going to get the engine RPM, so we can see that indeed as well from the distance. I'm going to change the throttle position without changing the RPM, so you can see that indeed it is reading, and is reading properly. I can change the percentage and the voltage, not a problem at all. Again, turn this off. We lose communication. Turn it back on. We can see the fuel pump prime, which is just the way it is. And then cam and crank are in synchronization. We get injectors and we get EST, and we can see those there. So again, this is at least for you a full test, knowing now that your computer is working 100%. Everything is good, nothing wrong with the computer. Both fiber references good. I'm going to give you some recommendations to check the cam and crank sensor signals, and for that you're going definitely to need an oscilloscope. That is the best way I can give you. At least if you can save a data file, you can find a picoscope and gather that from the cam and crank sensor signals and try to crank the engine for probably 10 seconds and send me that capture. I can then help you diagnose the boat. This is something that we will need to check. You're going to have to check the powers and grounds to those sensors and make sure that the signal is actually reaching the computer. So you're going to have to do a test. The pins on the computer, you're most likely going to have to peel the uh, tape protecting and then use a back probe like something like this, just a back probe that you can go and then stab the terminal side trying to protect not to damage the insulation. So go on side. You can also use a needle pin and that works really well. And then let's say these are the sensors. You go on the sensor and you check that the same signal reaches the computer. Because again, the problem you have sounds like sensor signals or motor timing. Because synchronization can be either a bad sensor, a bad wire, or indeed mechanical problems that the cam and crank signals are not in sync, and then the computer is actually protecting the boat from starting because it knows that something is off, and then it starts to damage the engine. It's not letting it run. All right, so I'm going to be sending this your way for all that are visiting the channel. Thank you so much. I did some changes that I want to show you on my website. I'm trying to promote the business a little more. So I did just to make it a little more appealing and easy to see on the naked eye, sometimes on the phone. And I have Wix open here. So let me just not to show too much in here. I'm going to go over to the site. I'm right now going to my editing software. So this is my website editor. If you, I'm going to go over to the this is the mobile view, and this is how it will look. And then you can scroll down, and it's very friendly, so you can see everything very nice and clear. Uh, I would recommend just if you have any requests, just click on the contact button. I put this up arrow so you can click in there and it will take you up to the top, and that's it. But yeah, so like I said, I did some changes on the website to make it as easy to contact me. So you got the contact button as soon as you get in the website. It's right here. This is the first thing you want to do if you're trying to get your ECM send and start establishing a conversation with me or chat with me. I always respond immediately. All right, guys. So again, thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.